The syndicalists have been destroyed and all governments in exiles are back in their nations, except Germany and Italy, which we have been left to decide over. And luckily the debates were over quickly. In Italy it was decided to give away all our land to the Pope so we could finally unite Italy again. And in Germany we established a republic and held an election where surprisingly they voted for the restoration of the monarchy and the SPD. So with Europe redrawn, we can turn our army and navy towards Japan. While most of their war effort has been turned to Russia, they have still managed to capture almost all our allies' colonies in the East Indies, and they have even landed in Australia. The first step will be to kick them out of the country, and we have already started preparing. 4 of our tank divisions have been sent over and a supply hub has been built to support an offensive. Thus, while our European troops, including our important marines, get shipped to the west coast, we can already begin our offensive actions. With few weak and unsupplied Japanese and Filipino divisions, it wasn't difficult for our tanks to simply drive through any defenses and force them to retreat. Townsville was easily captured and we could continue into the rest of North Queensland. We tried to drive all the way to Darwin, the last Japanese port, but with supply running low we had to stop. Instead we will capture it by sea as our marines arrive and our navy is repaired. It took a rather long time to wait for that, but in the meantime our scientists had started construction of a nuclear reactor, which would allow us to develop a superweapon to shorten the war. Back to Australia, it's now time for our navy and marines to do their job. Not only will it be the first time we fight the Japanese navy, but it will also be the first time we use several of our new ships. But we don't have to worry. Due to the lack of raw resources, the Japanese navy has had a hard time to replace their losses against the former German navy. Now to the naval invasion. Not only did we attack Darwin, but we also headed for Timor and some other Indonesian islands. We landed everywhere and the Japanese in Australia were now encircled and without supply. So together with some Australians we captured their troops and freed all of Australia. A great success, and with naval superiority everywhere we can continue to the Dutch East Indies so we can head to the Philippines and Japan. And we have no time to lose, our Russian friends are bleeding troops, the longer we take the more die. The Philippines are defeated and the road to Japan stands open. So we launched our invasion of Taiwan and the Ryukyu Islands at the same time, with both managing to defeat the local Japanese garrisons and secure the islands. The only thing left now is to invade Japan. It will be difficult, but so far everything has gone perfect. The plan is to do it with 14 marines landing in Nagasaki and Fukuoka and then capture all of Kyushu Island. Then, as we have secured the airport on the island, we will threaten the Japanese with our soon to be developed superweapon. So with our marines ready, we launched the invasion. As the first 4 of them arrived, they met heavy fire both from land and from the sky. But since the Japanese garrisons hadn't fought in battle before, and with another 10 marines arriving, we managed to land on the island. First in Nagasaki and then Kokura and Fukuoka. All Japanese troops were now cornered to the sea and disarmed as they didn't have anywhere to retreat. After another week of fighting, the whole island had been captured and we sent our threat to the Japanese government. If they didn't surrender now, one of their cities would cease to exist. Unsurprisingly, they thought we were bluffing and refused to surrender. And they might be right, since we haven't been able to gain air superiority at all. We will have to capture some more airports in the region while we wait for our first nuke to be developed. We first tried to cross to Shikoku Island but failed due to 3 tank divisions on the other side. So instead we will turn to the more radical option, naval invading Korea. We would be able to capture an airport and begin to fight against the Great Ming, which we have to defeat nonetheless. With 7 marines we managed to land in Busan after only a short battle. The Japanese hadn't expected us at all, so we could easily continue towards the airport. As we arrived to it, 10 of our tank divisions had also started their journey towards Korea. We tried to continue towards Seoul but got stopped and had to wait for our tanks. However, our goal had succeeded. We had managed to gain air superiority over Japan, and as we finish our bomb, we will drop it as fast as possible. Though our tanks had the time to arrive in Korea and start an offensive before that. They were impossible for our enemies to stop, and we even managed to overrun some of their divisions. It didn't take long until Seoul was captured and we could continue to Pyongyang. While we got slowed down due to bad supply, as the supply hub in Seoul was brought up and running, we could continue at the same pace and capture Pyongyang. From there we continued towards the Ming, and with almost no division stopping us, we captured Shenyang and Port Arthur, both important cities. That's when we got the news that our scientists had fully researched the nukes. While air superiority had turned, we managed to cross to the island this time and capture the airport, turning the air war towards us again. So we ordered our air force to launch humanity's first ever nuclear bomb on Osaka. The Japanese nation is in complete shock. That, together with our naval invasion, has finally led to Hirohito admitting defeat. Surprisingly, the Ming surrendered as well, since the Russians had slowly made gains and us threatening their south. So we had done it, the co-prosperity sphere is defeated and we are finally at peace again. The peace deal was quite an easy one too. Russia got all their lands as well as Mongolia and China, while we got to decide over Korea, Japan and the Philippines. We simply established democratic states in each of them but gave away Taiwan to the Guangzhou federal government. And that was all. We have spread freedom to the world and saved the Entente from the Japanese and the syndicalists. Our job is done and we can start to focus on ourselves again. Quentin Roosevelt has succeeded with his reforms. Everything from social security to food stamps has been implemented. So I thank you for your votes. Without you we wouldn't be here and the world would be a syndicalist hell. And thanks so much for watching until the end of the series. But wait, since we have managed to save America with your votes, I need your help for Austria as well. Head to my community post and you will be able to choose which ideology I should play as in my next 20-minute video. And hopefully I will see you there too.